Opinion on the Jamie Foxx drama? Yeah, it was really stupid. It was really, really dumb. It's like a very common saying in the black community that people thought was like anti-Semitic for no reason. It has nothing to do with Jewish people. It has more to do with like if Jesus was betrayed, then like, you know, fake friends will betray you, of course. Which is pretty funny. And here, I'll start off with that actually. So Jamie Foxx posts about Judas, right? Specifically, where he said something that's very common, a commonly shared perspective, I guess, or it's almost like a colloquialism in the black community, where Jamie Foxx said they came after Jesus. What do you think will happen to you? Hashtag, he said they killed Jesus. What will happen to you? Hashtag fake friend. Okay, like hashtag something along the lines. I forget what what actually was the pose, and it was really dumb. Like a normal saying. Why did he say it though? I think he was tweeting about. Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. He was talking about a fake friend. Someone betrayed him in his real life or something. Like he was vague posting, which is very normal to do. And he's a boomer, right? So basically, as a boomer, vague posting, he said they'll come after anybody, right? Oh, my tweet had a sensitive content warning. That's what you guys were talking about. What the fuck? How did it get hit with a sensitive content warning? There's nothing wrong on the tweet. He's so not anti-Semitic, he didn't realize how anti-Semitic it sounded. I mean, why the fuck would you think it's an anti-Semitic tweet? You'd have to think long and hard as to why you would assume that when he says they, he means not like in general, the concept of like Jesus being betrayed, so you can be betrayed as well. Of course, they killed Jesus, it does happen to be a very common anti-Semitic trope simultaneous. Does that make sense? Like because I know because my brain is rotted and I cover Nazis and anti-Semites on a daily basis. So I know that like there is this very common hang up in like ultra nationalist, ultra Christian circles where people will literally be like, oh yeah, don't trust the Jews, like they killed Jesus, right? You're talking about two different things. The saying is commonly used in a non-anti-Semitic way. Exactly. But the difference is you have to remember context is important, right? Anyway, so he posted that thing. Jennifer Aniston got mad after they called Jennifer Aniston out for liking Jamie Foxx's tweet, but he came out and he said this: I want to apologize to the Jewish community and everyone who was offended by my post. I now know my choice of words have caused offense, and I'm sorry. That was never my intent. To clarify, I was betrayed by a fake friend, and that's what I meant with they, not anything more. I only have love in my heart for everyone. I love and support the Jewish community. My deepest apologies to anyone who was offended. Nothing but love. Anyways, Jamie Foxx. And it's actually a pretty funny moment because like one, it's a very common like black colloquialism, right? It's a common saying in black communities. It has nothing to do with Jewish people at all, but it also simultaneously in like extremely brain rotted circles online is utilized or rather weaponized against Jewish people as an antiquated way to drive additional ire towards the Jewish community. So it's a pretty funny merger of like two different cultures getting together and like not understanding what was going on. And because our brains are completely rotted and we just have no way of comprehending things in like a non-cynical way, immediately people just like jumped on board. And Felix had a pretty good tweet about everyone rushing to call black people anti-Semitic now. Oh, 100%. That definitely, like, we live in a post-Kanye world now where it was already bubbling up because there are certain anti-Semitic tropes in certain aspects of like, I wouldn't say black culture necessarily, but like black people are not a monolith, just like white people are not a monolith. And there is like certain sects of black nationalists sometimes, not all black nationalists, obviously, but like I'm talking, what's his face? Farrakhan, for example, will oftentimes engage in anti-Semitic tropes. There's certain aspects of black Israelite, rhetoric that is definitely anti-Semitic. And people have criticized this and people have talked about this for a very long time, but usually went unnoticed until Kanye West, one of the most public black figures, basically took it to the least rational conclusion that you could take it to, and was like openly praising Hitler and whatnot. So that's what that's the reason why everyone is on high alert every time like a visible, very public black figure says anything that might even come across like anti-Semitic. So the least Hitlerian interpretation, yeah. But that's not because because Farrakhan's a black nationalist, because he's a hateful person. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I was not saying that like all black nationalists are anti-Semitic or anything like that. Obviously, I would never say that. So basically, this was the post, which is really funny. Actor Jamie Foxx posts horrifically anti-Semitic message to his 16.7 million followers. The post is, "They killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? Hashtag fake friends, hashtag fake love." Now, without those hashtags, you might possibly think, well, it's a little spicy if you're unfamiliar with the common term, right? It's such a boomer way to post on Instagram, by the way, to put hashtags, even though it did kind of save him. But Romans killed Jesus, not Jews, lol, what a boomer. It doesn't matter. Anti-Semites claim that Jesus was killed by Jewish people. That's like another trope. So Jennifer Aniston blasted Jamie Foxx because, she's a fake friend, which is ironic because here's what I have to say to that. They killed Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? One day they'll like your Instagram post, hashtag fake friends. The next day they will blast you on the timeline and call you a fucking anti-Semite. But like the fact that boomer ass hashtag fake friends is there very clearly shows, even if you don't understand that this is like a very common, what is the term? Is it idiom? Like a common thing a common phrase that people use. What, like fake friends? Is he saying like all Jews are fake friends? He's not saying that. So what the fuck do you think? Anyway, so it was a pretty funny story, but there is one other layer to this story that I think is really interesting, that someone else posted on the timeline that I actually retweeted earlier today. And I want to show you that. Elad Nehorai, who is a former Hasidic Jew, who writes about extremism and anti-Semitism and how tech spreads both at the Daily Beast and JD Forward and more, had a really interesting take on the matter. He said, Jamie Foxx apologized, which, by the way, he didn't have to, right? Like, it was their fault. It was everyone else's fault. It was your fault if you misunderstood what he was saying. You know what I mean? Not his. Crazy. Ilhan Omar apologized. Again, I don't think she needed to. Tamika Mallory, I don't know what she said. I don't remember that. Apologize. Elon Musk, no apology, continued anti-Semitism. Donald Trump, no apology, continued anti-Semitism. Tucker Carlson, no apology, continued anti-Semitism. And yet many focus on the top three. I wonder why. And that is actually a really good point. Anti-Semitism, even if it's literally not anti-Semitic, like in the case of Jamie Foxx or Ilhan Omar, which is expressly anti-Zionist, it always becomes this massive issue. Donald Trump is literally the greatest ally to Israel ever in history. The left, he's so anti-Semitic. Hey, bro, are you aware that there are Jews in America? Or do you think we all belong in Israel? Anyway, so yeah, if you are white man, or if you're a white male conservative, holy moly, you can get away with a lot of anti-Semitism. Okay, just a lot. And most of the people who themselves are anti-Semitic will never cynically weaponize cares and considerations of anti-Semitism towards you. You know, they won't do that. They will not do that. It's cool. You're allowed to do and say whatever the fuck you want. Anyway, Pontius Pilate led the community vote to either let Jesus free or Barabbas. He symbolically washed his hands of the matter. That's why some people don't blame Romans for the Jesus death. Did you see the N wokeness got mad about Jamie Foxx saying he's happy he killed slaves owners in Django? Yeah, I know. It was awesome. I love when accounts dedicated specifically to ending wokeness in the media that are so upset about liberals constantly yelling about whatever kind of content is triggering them, does a trigger post or care post about like some other fucking thing that a liberal has said. Oh, holy shit. I didn't even realize the first people were POC. Yeah, they were all black. I thought we were saying just when people see you apologize. No. it's if you're black, even if you apologize, they fucking yell at you. Come on, you said what Fox said is common. It's not a common thing for people to say. What? No, it is common. Anyway, I'm not reading things that are purposefully trying to incite anger out of me today, so I'm doing better. I'm not going to do that. So, an argument here for the feeling of white on white adjacent when it's white folks versus like Kyrie and others. They assume it's from a hostile place like Hotep Black Israelite thing. So whites get a pass in their anti-Semitic feeling. No, I think whites get a pass on everything. And it's not even just white people usually, because I'm white. I don't get a pass on shit. It's white conservatives. If you are like openly conservative, openly antagonistic towards marginalized communities, they expect you to be a piece of shit to marginalized communities. So there's that element, right? So they're just like, okay, well, this guy's a piece of shit. Move on, you know? Or the very same communities that they have created will very successfully weaponize caring in that moment specifically to try and attack whoever the fuck they're attacking. So it's also very common, although liberal white supremacist caricature of black people, to say that they are supremely bigoted. Yes, I've talked about this before. It's the liberal side of racism where liberals don't want to come across like they are advancing the cartoonish stereotypical depiction of the angry, scary black man, right? The violent, angry, scary black man. So instead of just like saying the common tropes that right-wingers will openly blurt out that everybody understands, the more liberal, the more tolerant approach to like criticizing black men or stereotyping black men as like angry and violent and bigoted and backwards is utilizing social justice terminology like black men are homophobic, black men are anti-Semitic. You're still absolutely turning all black men into a monolith. But if they're seeing a black person walking down a suburb, you bet your ass they're locking their doors. I mean, yeah, for sure. But yeah, like homophobia exists in every community. It's, you know, there's homophobia everywhere. But given that whiteness is the default position, there's never like all white people need to account for their homophobia, because that's a silly thing. Because when you say that, you're basically just talking about everybody. You know what I mean? When you say nobody ever singles out white people in that regard, because why would you? That would be stupid. But that same consideration is never afforded to other marginalized identities, other marginalized communities in general, because they are otherized from the jump and they're not seen as the default group. So everyone's always like, wow, the black community really has a lot of cleaning up to do with respect to homophobia. Anyway, so if you place yourself as a default, people won't use individual acts. Yeah. People won't use individual acts to generalize the in-group. Minorities don't get that benefit. That's why even though every kind of person has lost their shit at a GameStop, everyone remembers the trans Karen. Yeah. Like I've talked about this before. When you are a member of a specific marginalized group, every action that you engage in, every step that you take is seen as a trope for all members of said in-group. Okay? If you're a trans woman and you get angry, just like the example you gave, then all trans women are like this. All trans people are like this. I mean, come on. They're so unreasonable. They're so crazy. They're so cringe, right? Immediately. A black person does a crime and everybody goes, look at black people. This is how it is. This is black culture. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just so violent, so aggressive. How do we deal with like, no, that's just a person doing a crime, you know? Yes, you're right. One of the greatest examples of this is the black on black crime dog whistle that people use to dismiss white crimes. It's just crime. The irony there is black on black crime happens at, I believe, around like 89% or 90%, except white on white crime also happens at the exact same percentage. But you never hear about white on white crime as a narrative. Turns out people do crime to those in their proximity. That's just normal. It's just a constant. Anyway, so have you heard about the Alabama boat launch incident? Yes, we're gonna do that. Yes, most crimes are domestic. It happens in the home. It happens in your near and immediate vicinity. It does not happen most people are not going 8 communities down the road to do a crime.